There's a door that you can walk through where there used to be a wall. I don't care, it's cool. Long as you catch me, baby. Catch me when you fall. If there's ever a fall, listen to the breakdown. Closer we get, 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 closer we get to the breakdown. That's my title subscription. Isn't that fun? Anytime, any place, like Janet Jackson said. And I said to the creator himself, Prince Rogers Nelson, the I am. That's what I said. I said when I talked to him in my life after life that, and even before my life, like I've had some memories about that too, or before my soul came into my flesh suit. I told him that anything that he needed, I would do even before I knew what it was, which is fine. You know what I mean? Some people come along and ask you, hey, will you do me a favor? And I don't know, some people say yeah or no before asking, but you know, it depends on what it is what most people say. But I, of course, when you're speaking to the I am, you don't, I mean, some people do maybe, but I didn't ever want to say it depends on what it is. And I said anything it takes. And it's like, I'll be his slave. My name Elizabeth actually means consecrated to God. My son's name Isaiah as well means consecrated to God. Again, as you know from the other videos, I didn't grow up religious or anything like that. In fact, I don't know, I know I've mentioned to you guys that my sister passed, but the funny thing is, my older sister, her name is Stormy, and my younger sister, the one that committed suicide, her name's Spring. So everybody would always say, what were your parents thinking when they named you Elizabeth? And well, I mean, a pretty big name to carry. I used to go by Scooch, family secret there, till I was about 10 years old. My parents said it was because I scooched off the couch when I was a baby. I was about 4 months old or something to that effect. So because my name was so big, Elizabeth, I used to go by Scooch. And my teachers would call me Elizabeth, but my whole family and grandma would say Beth Ann. But anyway, I'm rambling. Because of the consecrated to God Elizabeth thing, I went by Liz for a while, but an ex told me that I deserved to use a better name, use my whole name as Elizabeth. So people always ask, you use anything else? But no, I don't, because I am consecrated to God. The reason I come here, you guys, is because I want your souls to be too. It's the only thing that is going to help you, protect you, save you, make you brave as we go into this tumultuous time that is coming towards us, because we are the final generation. But you know what? Instead of that making you like frightened or sad or whatever, you should let it heighten your awareness. Let it make you soul search, because I've had the honor, pleasure, and duty of doing my soul searching now for a number of years, since 93, basically. And then again, since, just it gets a jump start every so often. 93 is when I started in earnest to read my Bible. And then 2013 was my first purple time, in which I started hearing things from God that I couldn't attribute to anything else, because it was outside of my own hearing. Even though I always listened to my own thoughts as that single mom and that I would always listen to that inner knowing, because I was always like, well, the difference between right and wrong. So, when you make a wrong choice, it's wrong. So, if you're going to make it, at least apologize for it and move on and try to fix it. You know what I mean? And I definitely didn't, I wanted to fix it, and I tried to, and I prayed about it and signed off my journal with it every night, but I continued to make the same mistakes, is what I mean to say. But when you make one, ask for forgiveness. I rambled on that, but I called this video The Flow. It's definitely going to be far from a flow, I'm sure, but I'm always trying to come here and share the evidence. And it kind of makes me lose my focus from what really happened to me. Some of the older videos that I've posted online, way back when, further down on the list, I'm in a pink t-shirt. I tell more about the story about when I died. And I don't think very many people paid attention to that because it's way too far down on the list. I don't know. Um, and that has absolutely everything to do with this story and this situation and this breakdown and all this hearing and this that I am. It's absolutely everything, you guys. And I just wanted to sit down today and talk to Free Flow and to myself too, because this whole thing, it's pretty intense. And I know when I sit back and I watch the videos back, sometimes some of them, you guys can see the color changing around me in the background. You can see, like, I know you can see things. I know that you can feel the things. I trust that you can feel them because there's nothing here but honesty and truth. And so I pray that that's coming through to you. Even if you're new to all things like spiritual, you know what I mean? It's not something so deep and off the edge that it's just too trippy to think about, you guys. All I ever did was wanted to connect myself to the creator even before I knew it was the one the world knew as Prince Rogers Nelson, who he showed me to when I passed. And he didn't just show me himself as Prince and be like, ta-da, here I am, you guys. If you watch the videos way back when, it'll tell you. He showed himself to me as, you guys, like I said before, an ancient white being that was rather serpentine sometimes and had wings. And it was like because he has been everything and given of himself to everything and made all the creations of himself, well, then he kind of takes on all these essences as well too. So it's basically whatever you want to see him as, with the power that he has. Obviously, that's why you call him the creator. He creates absolutely everything. So how he appears is up to him in that way, I would suppose. I'm not really sure if that's the final answer, but that's what he showed to me. And I went up, you guys. These are not dreams. I died and I went to heaven and I talked to angels, creators. I had to earn my way there. I told you before, if you listened, I had to earn my way to talk to him by passing these tests. And I don't exactly remember what the tests were, but in my remembrance of what I know about, dying and passing the tests, it was like something to do with words and reading and how I had got to heaven and how I had heard from the creator. And I told him through the music. And like I said, it was kind of in depth and I don't really remember everything, but long story longer, I knew that I was moving towards something and that I was going to meet the creator, but I didn't know when I met him that he was going to show himself to me as Prince. Okay. So again, when that happened, there still isn't words. It was the most humiliating moment of my life. And like I said in my writings, I think I took a baby step forward, and the angels and things that were protecting him kind of lunged forward and like, no, don't. And so I was like a magnet and my feet were stuck to the floor, but my body was wanting to be pulled forward and I didn't move. And, all these things happened. And then I cried a lot. And, some of these things I mentioned before, but I mentioned them, you guys, because as this channel grows a little bit and as I find myself explaining myself to limited circles of people, in which I'm trying to expand, but limited circles of people are still just, yeah, we can believe you died and we can believe maybe you met something, but it's like what your brain created. They say, Elizabeth, this is your imagination. This is what your brain did when you died, and everybody's going to see something else. And you think that Prince is Jesus and you think that Prince is God. And that's what they come at me with. However, know thyself. And as I said before, I would never risk the relationship I had with the creator to come here and tell a bunch of lies. I'm coming here to tell the world's biggest truth. And one day, you guys are going to see it. But the thing is, it's not going to be an I told you so moment. It's going to be, wow, that girl really was connected to the Creator and really has a message for us, because the message is from him. I am to you. Because when I was there, this is what he told me, you guys. It's like, to the best of my memory, the plan, and forgive me if it goes astray, but one moment. To the best of my memory, he said something to the effect of the religion that was in the world was all false. Every bit of it. Well, except for the Torah and the things they're taught in the Hebrew and the sages and the things back then. But what I'm saying, what was been sold as the whole Jesus as the only son situation, the Old Man Johnson 3:16 that everybody knows, that's on the back of trash trucks and everything like that. The 3:16 is actually just a reversal of the pi, because in the numerology, the gematria, the PIE actually turns into 319 or 316 or 314, because the 4, the 6, and the 9 all look the same. So, and I'll explain this in a minute, but that Old Man Johnson's 3:16 is false. And the reason the world was sold on that, as I mentioned before, was strictly for control. Now, why? Well, money and power, obviously, but it goes back deeper than that, to the best of my recollection. And that is that when the Creator did try to show himself in the world in whatever capacity in the old ancient days, for whatever reason, I can't remember, the people, like, with Moses and stuff, the people weren't ready to accept it, and something happened. So then he disappeared, took himself out of the world. But the other powers, the bad powers, they didn't want people to think that the Creator took himself out of the world. So of course they created something false in the golden calf, and taking all the jewelry and melting it down and dancing and singing golden calf, the cow. Pardon me, that cough is lingering. So that is so that the world would have something to worship, because the Creator took himself out. So by creating a false idol, the way that it's been taught in America is, and I know that this is shocking to some people, but it's what I was told, and it is what it is. I studied Judaism, and I don't believe there was a man named Jesus Christ who was the Creator's only son, who came here in the flesh, walked the earth, got hung on a cross, came back 3 days later, and yada, yada, yada. If you read your Bible, you know the rest, because it's the same. The real legions want you believing that your Savior went away, somebody who was Jewish to begin with, went away and just said he was going to go find and take a place, and just, that's to keep you waiting, you guys, to keep you doing nothing, to keep you complacent, to keep you going to all these churches, all these kingdom halls, all these brick and mortars, and giving all your 10% and struggling with your family and people, and Seventh-day Adventists marrying 25 women. And you guys know how the stuff goes down. You know what I'm saying? And then you got real people out there like you and me looking to be one with the Creator. He wants to be one with you too. And that's why he put himself in your DNA and made it so that you can talk to him like your best friend. The story that was created was to maintain control of people, to keep them complacent. And because the plan, the breakdown, was because the golden calf came to us through reincarnated souls, back to King David and now through Prince Rogers Nelson. And that's what he told me. He told me that he found out something about, how in Get on the Boat, or one of the songs, he says, we're all in the same boat. No, it's on the Lotus Flower. We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat, and I'm the only one rowing. He said that He's the only one sustaining absolutely everything. And so, like, when I come here to talk to you guys, like, it's to beg you. He's the creator and the sustainer, but it's not like stuff hasn't been hard on him and he's not all broke down like the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to build himself to me and told me that he was sustaining everything, and that something about when one of his former, I don't know, you guys, it's mind blowing. His former soul found out, or let me say this right. He said that as he would be in the world as Prince Rogers Nelson, he would hear from God or from a protector angel, which he said was me. To the best of my memory, you guys, I'm not trying to take credit for something that isn't, but this is just what I remember and what I heard. It's in all the songs. It's just the truth. We talked about it before. It's just slightly embarrassing. And that he didn't believe about himself that he was who he was in his reincarnated soul either, or something like that. So for me to come here and talk to you guys and say that this is who I am and that I can hear from him because I'm attached to the depth of my soul, and because I passed away and was shown all these things, and shown also, like I said, through the kaleidoscope, the way that all of our souls have like a constellation, or at the very least a star or something attached to it, like in this kaleidoscope sort of way. We're all in our own, like here I am and I'm in a tunnel, shoop, and I go right up and I connect to something that's otherworldly that we can't even fathom. You know what I'm saying? And so do you. And we're all in our own little separate tunnels. It's like on Ice Age when the saber-tooth and the boy and them are going down the tunnel. Everybody's in their own tunnel. And that's why we think that we're the center of our universe and only our issues matter and only this matters. If you're a good soul-seeking person, you're going to look outside your tunnel on how you can help people in their tunnel. Homeless people, friends, family members, connect yourself to the creator, taking care of animals, not littering, how you can just be a better person all around. And just by doing little things, people are like, oh, this is so huge. What can I do? Start small, okay? I know it's pretty big. But I don't just come here to talk about the Prince investigation, the PI investigation, because it's much, much bigger than that. He told me that the real legions were white supremacists, KKK, and absolutely everything that our world, and especially United States of America, has been through is all just a plan. It's why the 1776 Declaration of Independence going into 1777 that I always talk about. I want you guys to know that I don't want you to be scared. I want you to be aware. You yourself are here because you in your soul chose to be here. You just don't remember because our memories are wiped away when we're incarnated again and make our choices and come back based on the choices we made previously. You just don't remember it, you guys. I think it makes a lot more sense to a lot of people probably too than just thinking that you're just going to be dead and gone and buried in the earth and just a waste of space. You're not. The creator didn't create you for that. But you have work to do. You guys, you have work to do. Now, the way that that's been told to me, it does have to do with the investigation. You guys know I reveal a lot of stuff in there, and that's because the creator tells it to me and I do a lot of hard work. This video, like I said, I don't even know what's going to happen. But I'm going to share this with you for a minute because it'll take me somewhere else as I'm talking. The 341 pi, you guys, that I'm always talking about, this is what this represents. 13 is 1 a.m. in military time. Okay, so that's what I did is I wrote 13 and then I wrote 1 a.m. on the board. All right, because in the file there's military time and there's regular time, and my mind floats back and forth like that. The number 13 in Hebrew also means love, is equivalent to love. Okay, so here we have 13, 1 o'clock, It also says I am, and it represents love in Hebrew. So there's obviously no coincidence there. You see how letters and numbers work together and represent each other in various ways that you might not have ever thunk of. So then what I did is I wanted to see how many different ways the 314 equals pi, because of the mirror writing, it's backwards, upside down, and back and forth. And keep in mind, if I interchange the letters, it's because I see the 4 as a 4, 6, and a 9, especially if you do the closed end 4, like with a triangle, like right here. See this one, that's still a 4, but it's also a P. Okay, so that's what I mean. So anyway, what you can do with the 314 equals pi is this. 13 also equals 3 plus 1 plus 4. Okay, that's obviously 13. Okay, that's pi, and it's 13. All right, now if you take, 4 times 3 plus 1, you're also going to get 13. Okay, right. Now, if you take and do the work in parentheses first, you take 3 plus 1, you get 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Now that'll become relevant in a minute. So you can also take and use the mathematics, because you have addition, multiplication, and then you have another way that you can use it where it still spells out the word pi by putting the 314 in the equation. So you guys know, I didn't take algebra. I never took geometry. I, graduated high school and had some college. This stuff is shown to me. When I stare at it and meditate on it, it just happens. Okay. It's because the creator tells me. Okay. I never, before 2020, before I woke up at 20, never thought about the pi equals 314 equation too much in my life. I wondered in passing what the heck it was for, because it's pretty intense to be the mathematical equation to life or something like that. And it didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But anyway, so what we got going on here, you guys, is this. These are all the different ways, obviously. So also, with the way that gematria works, 13 also equals 8. Do you see how this is an 8, but it could also be a 13 if given just enough space? There's a straight line and a 3. Now, that's just how gematria works. So you have all these ways that 314 equals the same, but it equals 8, and 8 equals 16. So that's why I brought it down here. I know that didn't come out quite right, but you can go back and rewind. Now, if you stare at those numbers like I did, then you can see where within those numbers, and I explained this before, but I'm going to do it again. You can pull out the dates 1914, 1939, and then it also spells out the word opioid, and it also spells out 1916, okay, because that's when they actually did their dirt. I believe that's when they killed Prince, was on the 19th, when everybody said they didn't know where they were. Kim Pratt said that she did the Dakota Club and the movies and this and that. Kirk Johnson said he didn't know if he saw Prince that day. Larry Graham said he was at the house. Chef Roberts said that he brought wine and food, even though Kirk and Marone said they already ate. So there's a big discrepancy as to what went on between the 17th and the 19th. And because 1916 goes along with the 1914, the 1939, as well as the day that Mark Metz announced that there would be no formal charges on 419 of 18, I believe. Now, also, I know this is really small, but if you take 14 plus 39 and add it in a non-traditional way, 9 plus 4 is 13, 1 plus 3 is 4, you end up with 413 equation again. So by doing this 33rd degree gematria, you end up with the way that those other powers do the things that they do, okay? Because they were given a limited time only to use the creator's power by contract. Now, I want to point something out to you guys before. Up here at the top, it says alien. A, lie, in, okay? Now, under that, it says elite. You can see how it's the same numbers, the name, elite, a lie in configuration. Under that, it just says all in. And then for those of you who are not in the know, that's why when you have a lien on your house or a lien on your car, pretty soon you're going to have a lien on your intellectual rights, because that's what they want. Your soul, your intellectual rights, because COVID, Corona, every single, I don't even know what, because I don't even watch the news, what they're calling it now. This and that and the other, they're going to say it's so bad that you have to sign over and, da 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 da. So a lien, A-L-I-N, A-L-I-N. Now, if you take the word alien right here in red, and I write it upside down in backwards mirror writing, it says a veil, V-E-I-L, a veil, or A-I veil. So alien is the AI veil. It's the veil that they want pulled over our eyes, the veil that they want pulled over the bride's face, the mother of all the living that Eve became, that they just want to sweep her under the rug, probably the rug that Prince Rogers Nelson was lying on, because they lie like a rug. Get it? It all goes together. Are we getting it? Up here, it says Pride. That's my last name, Pride. It's just in a different kind of writing. Do you see how it works? Now, within the name Pride, what else do you see? It's so hard to do this backwards. P-I-E, pie. And then what do you have in the middle? Two sevens together, like time indefinite. That's who we are. That's who I am. That's who I'm going to be. And I'm going to stay in you guys' face lovingly until you start to understand that even though I'm sarcastic and funny and bubbly and sometimes depressed, and sometimes I come with zits, and sometimes I'm happy, and sometimes I curl my hair, because that's who I am. I wasn't always this person. Ooh, I want to show you guys something before I continue, because I want to show you just how real I am. I'm going to show you this picture of me when I weighed 244 pounds. It's hideous, but I want to show you just how real I am. Okay? Hold on to your hats. Now, before I do, I want to say disclaimer. The reason I'm doing this, you guys, is because, I have enough confidence to say I know I'm an attractive woman. I took my clothes off for a living, for goodness sake, but I'm not arrogant. I'm not conceited. I've never tried to use it on anybody or anything like that, because I'm just me. And I just, I want to say that, like I said before, y'all don't know what I went through. It's been a fight, and I'm trying to let you guys know that no matter what you're going through, or no matter how many family members you've lost, or like I said, the things that go on in dysfunctional families and this and that, medication, drugs, you know what I mean, that you can get better, you can get whole. So I have 3 of my IDs next to each other. Okay. Now, the day that the one that you're going to see where I look really big, you guys, is I was very, very angry. I went to go cash a check, and my ID was expired. So I had to go to the Secretary of State and have another ID picture taken. And it was first thing in the morning. I was very angry because I was a different person back then, and I was on a lot of medication. And I'm going to show this quick. So please don't screenshot it and do anything with it. If you do, that's on you. Here it comes. Okay. So this was they say, what's your 10-year, sorry about that glare. 10 years ago in 2012, I think this is like 2016, and this is, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe. But see what I'm saying, you guys? Okay, that's enough of that. So you know how IDs can be, and that one was really rough. You know what I'm saying? But I say that and show that because I'm humble, because I work to be very humble. I don't see myself as any better than anybody. We're all given different gifts, and I've always had to use my brain and in school and books and stuff like that, because it was my escape from my crappy life. You know what I mean? So, that's why we're here. Anyway, I want to finish back here. So within my name, Pride, it's the Pride. So there's the pi and the 77, which you can see below. And then I showed you where it goes Pride, and then it says Prince. Now, again, look at the way that Prince is written. It's the capitals. The N is kind of like a hump over, because it's NCE connected, but it's pride. He told me that we were of the same family, that we're like, I don't exactly know how, like Adam and Eve connected kind of stuff like that. And it's a trip, you guys. And I know how wonderful and wild this sounds, and how people will say, oh, that female is just in love and that was her trip when she died. But it's not, because when you meet him, if you do or how you do or whatever, I'm not really sure, to each soul. I don't know. But you'll see that it's not just that, because like even you and me, when we're out of our body, you know what I always explained it to my family, like pretty simply, like a hand in a glove. And when the hand comes out, the body is just the shell, or when you crack an egg open. So, you guys, it's real. And he told me that the KKK, the white supremacy, the slave owners, Warner Brothers. I wiped it off. Warner Brothers, when you do it upside down, the WB, just the big WB, and you do it upside down in mirror writing, it actually spells out MIB, which is Men in Black. So the whole reason that the big white mansion stayed in Minneapolis there, Chanhassen, is not what they sold. You guys, the whole thing was sold as a charade, like Old Man Johnson's Farm 316. To go along with it was the charade of Paisley Park. The things that we saw, the music that we heard, it's all real and it's all true. And like I mentioned in the other videos before, is why Prince Rogers Nelson was known to work so hard, because he was always fixing the wannabe Prince clones' music. Like on Purple Rain, you know how they have Wendy and Lisa wanting to use their music and stuff like that. He said that he always made music and then he had to go back and fix it. And as I mentioned in the Plectrum Electrum video, that trying to stay away from today, that all the screams that are in the video that are so infamous are screams of pain that he covered up with music, to make it enjoyable for us to hear. So the music is never quite the same when I hear it anymore, but I'll never stop loving it because it trained me up for this. So also on the bottom, you guys, I want to show you something. I'm always talking about 21. Now, 21 also spells AI with the small a and the I. See the little dots in there, AI. Now, 21 also spells in upside down writing. It also spells pi, because you have the P once, the I, and then in backwards writing, the P becomes the E. So it's PIE or PIG, which is having to do with the boar in Maui and why they always roast a pig at their luau's, which are actually Satanistic fire worshiping ceremonies. And I mean no offense to anybody, because like I said, I was out there, but these things were disclosed to me through divine information. It's just that people don't know it, okay? And it has to do with why they say tourists with 89 flowers in their back. The inventors of the Aki Jack. People's energy are being used at energy fields, and that's why they have people swarming to the places like that. But anyway, you guys, even here where it says AI veil, because it's the wool that they want pulled over eyes, is there, isn't there? Is the comet and more going to bring an alien, or isn't there? They want to scare the bejeebies out of you. And then when and if something happens, like holographically, or they do a holographic rapture, or try to bring in martial law, or implement all this crazy stuff, that will happen, you guys. I just don't know when. Like I said, if you watch all the videos, I have to sit back and laugh at myself for thinking all the dates mean something, but it doesn't matter. I was told something was going to happen, and that the creator was so frustrated with everybody and everything that he wanted to just be done with it and wipe us off the map. That's what he said. And then we had these really long discussions and these really long talks. And yes, it was all while I was there, you guys, because there's no time. I don't exactly know how that happened. I can't explain it. But it was some really long talks. And he told me, and we made a plan. And part of the plan had to do with the fact that he knew that, let's just say Warner Brothers, let's just say that for lack of calling them names, let's just say the red-handed pharaoh, Phaedra, and Jim Olsen and all the others and all those dirty-handed KKK, MK Ultra monarch programming, blood-sucking mother suckers that I'm actually counting the days on. I know that's not very polite, but it's how I feel. I'm tired of being picked on. They're going to have to learn that when you try to play the creator, you play yourself. And, you know, he told me that they were going to come and kill him and that they were going to take not only his intellect, his intellectual property, which they had been using for years by contract so that he could sing and bring the music so that I could hear it, bring it to you guys so that everybody could hear it and enjoy it. But there's a message deeper in it that I was told I had to hear by layering up the music and so forth, or that I did hear. You guys all did too, I'm sure, just don't recognize it yet. He told me that they were able to use the intellectual property for a while and that they were going to be coming to kill him. And by way of killing him, they believed that they would have not only his intellectual property by way of whatever the contract was, but then somehow use of his physical person, if that makes any sense, his skin suit physical person. Because these occultic, Luciferian, whatever they are, I'm not really sure. They have the ability to shapeshift and change into whatever they want, you guys. They can put on whatever suit they want. And it's why the creator, was showing himself as something so gorgeous and perfect, because he is in that aspect. But anyway, when he knew that they were going to be coming for that part of him, and I believe that I hear that's why the fentanyl, something to that effect. And again, it goes back to the plan. You know what I mean? He probably, I think, I don't like to hypothesize too much, but he told me that he was going to commit suicide because it was the only way, as part of the plan, that he could expose himself as who he is. And that's really the only best way that I can explain it. You guys have to understand something truly, that when I come here and sit and talk, that the stuff sometimes sounds just as mind-blowing to me, but I know that it's true. I know what I hear. I know what I do all day. I know where the time has been invested, where the work has been done. In fact, check this out. I was in school. Hold on. This has to do with how that was not comfortable. This has to do, I was working on this last night. And when you're looking at the tree of life and the way that each of the Sephiroth will emanate a certain trait, like this is number one where the Aleph would be. I showed you guys this before. But this is how I believe he was meditating on and made the symbol, because it's the tree of life, which represents life and knowledge itself, which is him, which is the creator. And so that's something that I was working on just last night. Pretty cool. This is going to be so huge, you guys, that you're going to know in the end why. All the songs, you guys, they were so ahead of their time. Nobody knew what they were about. And yes, I will, you know what, when I'm done with this video, I think I'll do that because, part of my job, I know, is to teach, but I'm trying my best. But the lyrics always did speak to me, In This Bed I Scream. When I would listen to that in 2013, I was learning about Kabbalah, and Tony Kozniak was teaching on YouTube, and he was talking about the bed uh, and the screens and different things. And so all I could hear was that the music was always, always, always teaching me things that had to do with the Bible. And it made me read my Bible and hear the lyrics in a different way. So if you guys want to get to know them, um, don't go start with the New Testament like the world teaches. Go read the beginning of the Bible, read about creation, and know that, well, if you're attached to the music like I was, that's how it spoke to me. It just, I can't tell you how many friends I said, doesn't this music sound like God is singing to you? Or like he was made for God, or he was singing to God. And I always would say, when I sing the music, I sing it to God. Like, that's just how it was. I mean, I did some other things to the music too, in all truth, but I'm just saying that, that the music is what brought me to the heavenly place. It's what made me be this truth in human form, this qualified flesh suit to come here and sit here and tell you guys this, that your soul is going to have to very soon answer and see what the creator is going to say is that I gave you this choice. Now, if you want to believe on it, you're going to believe on it. But if you don't, you're going to stay over here until you're corrected. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to get you guys to do is start correcting yourselves now. And that's really not that big of a deal. It's just being honest, just like taking a shower, just coming clean. When you go to your therapist, if you have one, and talk to them, don't you tell them you're dirt. I'm sure there's people out. I mean, I never paid for no therapist. The only time I saw one was when my mom died, and he was very helpful. But, and I'm not saying if you're seeing one that's wrong. I'm just saying you can talk to the creator, and with enough practice, you will hear that voice, which you probably already hear already, but you just don't know yourself enough to listen to your soul and to know that you're right. Or you might, maybe you'll be surprised if you start listening to it. You know what I mean? Go into your little room and pray and meditate and talk, listen to music, do what you do, and then face your day. Then ask your questions. And every time during the day that something funky happens, something bad funky, say, okay, what is happening here? What am I supposed to learn? What can I do different? What's the right choice? What's the wrong choice? And then turn on some music and be funky. But anyway, I wanted to tell you guys that, this isn't particularly easy for me. I was never one of those girls that when she had a problem, she called up her girlfriends and said, hey, sis, hey, girlfriend, what's up? My man's being a da-da-da-da-da, and what's him here? Because I knew my inner voice, and I already knew I had prayed about it and talked to the creator about it, and I was not going to look to anybody else for advice. Not because I'm so smart and so special, but because I knew, for one, honestly, that their lives are jacked up too. So what are they going to tell me, first of all? And then, what would always bug me about that is, even in my own case, back years ago, when I was in a bad relationship, I knew that when I stayed in that relationship, that the choice that I was making was my own. I knew what was right and what was wrong. So when I was making the choice to do wrong, I was mad at myself, not anybody else. But that, being mad at yourself, can make you spiritually like, whoa, it's hard for people to accept that the creator created them, that he's in their DNA, that he loves them. It's hard for them to accept that unconditionally without shame, because they feel unworthy. And that's the way the world wants you to feel. And that's another reason the real legions sell it the way that they do. They want you to feel like a sinner. They want you to feel unworthy. They want you to question, am I? Not I am. Everything that the world is teaching is the opposite of what I am is teaching. And if you haven't questioned why yet in your life, it's time you start, you guys, because this is the greatest place to be, the freedom that is within knowing your creator and knowing that everything in your life has a purpose, from the most mundane to the grandest. But also knowing that you don't really have any control over it. Like you can plan and whatnot and have goals and do all those things, and those are usually good things. Um, However, anything in excess is not. But the choice is not yours. It's just not. Deep down, everything that you're experiencing is for the goodness and the preparation of your soul and what it needs to learn. Um, and no matter how hard or how easy or how pleasurable or whatever the case may be, it's all to prepare you. And prepare you for what, you guys? I don't know. What are you preparing yourself for? You know, it's not what you drive, it's not what you wear, it's not how much you weigh, although being healthy is very important. I always told myself I wanted to be a good soldier, and to be a good soldier, you have to be fit. I mean, to the best of your ability. I always did everything to the best of my ability. Um, whether it was driving or cooking or, reading or whatever. I always told my kids in school, I don't care what grade you get, as long as you're doing your very best, I could care less. Why would you care what the world thinks? If their report card says A, if the world thinks that they have an A. My 12-year-old granddaughter's art teacher, she made the, one second. She made this, and yeah, granted, that's a little off, so what? But, come on. Her art teacher, and she makes all kinds of other things too. She could actually be an illustrator, Paisley. Her art teacher is trying to tell her how to do art. You know what I'm saying? I know they have things they have to teach them per se, but how do you give a kid a bad grade in art? You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous. Just because this may not be easy for you to see doesn't mean it's not real. It's not easy peasy for me to see either. It just happens, and it's told to me. Now, you see that over there, that's like the tree of life representation, which is the same thing. So that's what the creator would sit and ponder on, and then made the symbol based on that. You see how that matches up? I can't do it with one hand. So you guys, I was hardcore about all things Prince Rogers Nelson my whole life. It just, since I was 13, and it just is what it is. When I was in the heavenly place and he was walking by, my soul recognized his soul in this other part of the situation. Like I said, I talk about it in those videos where I'm wearing the pink t-shirt, I think in a black vest. You guys should go back and watch them, because I know not everybody has all the time in the world, but every single time I come here and make a video, some of it might be redundant, but some of it will be new, because it's like being on a moving escalator or one of those things at the airport every single day, and your life should be the same. It's like it's just moving forward, but because I'm in that place and this place, it's like being on that escalator that moves through the airport everywhere I go. It very rarely lets up. And that's why I'm able to do so much work, because it's divine, it's spiritually given, you guys. And I want to address something real quick before I go. Maybe I won't go, I don't know. I never know. I want to talk about so many things, but it's so very hard, you guys, to bear it all. I don't know, honestly, what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not. About the things that happened to me over the last 2 years or year and a half, spring of 2020 at least. So this spring it'll be 2 years, and I just wish, with all the information and all the pictures and all the stuff that I have and that I'm trying to share with you guys, that you would let me know what you want to know, that would help you resolve in your mind what I'm saying. Like, do you have any questions? Why can't you believe it? The creator talks through birds, through trees, through animals, surely he can talk through a divine soul. Okay. And it's like I said, I'm confident enough to call myself that, and you guys should be too, because we were created in his image as divine, holy souls. And the world's biggest lie is that that's not what you are, or that you need to go through some third party old man Johnson's Farm 316 that doesn't exist. Okay. It's just a lie. I'm sorry if that hurts you. I'm sorry if it takes away from what you bow your head and pray every day, or you haven't ever in your life, or whatever. I'm sorry if it hurts you. I truly am. Or you're welcome if it's helping you to be closer to your creator, because why would our creator create a bunch of lovely human souls all sparked up and full of truth and then smash them all down and beat them all down and tell them, you have to believe on this one man to come to me and talk to me? No, it doesn't make any sense if you stop and think about it. It's like the Uncle Sam poster. I want you. The creator wants you. You, your holy soul. You got to be clean. You got to be honest. You got to be trying to figure out who you are and what your purpose is for and how to correct it and how to be your best you guys. I don't get outside very often. My life is kind of limited to my work. I've never worn a mask. I never will. It's blocking our divine DNA. We talked about it when I passed away. And again, part of the reason for that was because the creator's physical body skin suit is made to wear a mask in his electric chair. Listen to Electric Chair off Batman if you don't believe me. He's seen the future, and it will be. He shared it with me when I was there in 2010, and I'm here sharing it with you now. I'm going to continue to share the epiphanies, the dreams, the memories, the coffees, the pictures of me weighing 244 pounds. That wasn't for very long. It dipped down. It was just on a lot of medication like Lyrica and that other orange stuff that you take for nerve pain back then and stuff like that. But you guys, I'm working my tail off to bring you a message, to draw you closer to your creator, to have you recognize. It's not so hard to recognize if you actually look into it and acknowledge and be grateful for what a holy, kadosh in Hebrew, holy gift we're being given, that the kid is showing himself to us, that he wants to expose himself to us. He's shy. He needs your help and my help. And when he exposes himself, you guys are going to be embarrassed, like I was, if you don't start trying to talk. He's going to say, well, what were you doing when Elizabeth, my messenger, was talking to you? That's how it's going down. Better believe it. I am his messenger. And I'm going to work my butt off, even if it doesn't come out right all the time. I'll be back. I hope you enjoyed it, you guys. I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.